Hi, I keep doing small improvements to my Clojure Service Template. This time I added a feature to manually toggle between dark and light mode. So the backbone of styling in Clojure Service Template is Tailwind, and Tailwind supports the dark mode. And I'll use AlpineJS for a bit of state management, but overall it will be pretty straightforward. So first of all, you need to do is in your Tailwind config, we need to add a dark mode selector, and basically this will allow us to manually toggle between the themes. Default behavior in Tailwind is that it uses the media query selector to get the preferred color schema from the user, from the operation system. But in my case, I just wanted like a manual toggle. So changing this line to selector will basically change the behavior of Tailwind. We'll still use the same dark prefix. So for example, here in the classes, I'm using this background white as a default, and then I have this prefix dark background black. But now it will just look for the parent DOM elements, and if one of them will have a dark class, it now will apply the dark class to other elements. So if I go to inspector here, you can see in HTML at the very top we have the class dark. If I click on the toggle, it is removed, and that's how Tailwind now understands that we want dark or light mode. So how to implement that toggle behavior, right? I created a custom small JavaScript file, which is basically just vanilla JavaScript, and I'm using AlpineJS as a library to help me with some events on the buttons, and also the storage for our theme. What we want to do is I'm adding an event listener which will run when Alpine is initializing, and then I'm using this Alpine store, which will create a store in local storage with a key theme, and then it has a value and a couple functions. So the value will be true or false for dark. So that's basically how we will decide which toggle to show to the user. In the init function, we want just to set the initial value of the class. Basically, we want to add the dark class to the HTML at the very top, or remove it. And isDark function is basically a helper. So it checks the theme. If the user already stored his preference into the local storage, that will be the default. If not, we will default to a preferred schema from the media queries. Yeah, that's good. The other two helper functions are to actually switch to dark theme or switch to light theme. Basically, it just sets this internal state to true or false, and then we switch our local storage setting to dark or light, and we're basically manipulating the class. So in one case we add the class to the HTML tag, in the other case we remove it. And basically that's it for the JavaScript, right? Now we need to hook that inside our HTML. And I'm basically just using this new asset that I created for the theme.js file. And also I'll need an Alpine package. I'm basically just using a CDN link for that. One example how to force your files to reload in browser, for example in development or in production if you release a new version. I'm usually using this hack which is I'm reading the service version from the AMS, and this is basically for the production deployment. In there, when I deploy a new version, I usually use like a git commit as a hash for the service version, and that will be basically concatenated to the path for our static assets. So in this case, I'm just saying that this file will basically include a bit like this, and then it will be a version, right? In local development, I'm just using a random UID. So each time I reload my REPL, it will basically refresh my static assets. So in that case, I'll just have instant reloading, and I don't have any caching in the browser. There are other ways to do that, but that worked for me pretty well. So I just keep that as is. So moving to the toggle button, it's basically right here, and this is theme toggle, which is the entire component. It will include two variants. One is for the light mode and one is for the dark mode. I created a separate namespace for the SVG files, basically two right now, for sun and moon icons. And here, on click, which is like an AlpineJS shortcut for the on click event, I want to call the function from my Alpine store, right, to set it to the light theme. And on click here, I want the opposite. I want the dark theme. And I can apply some classes here. For example, I do hover, it turns yellow. It is controlled here. For the white theme, it will be blue on hover. Basically, when I decide when to show one of those by xShow param attribute, and it's using my dark boolean flag from the same store. And yeah, that's it. And you can see that in action works pretty well. That's already merged into the master branch of my Clojure Service Template. If you're interested into that and want to use, you can just follow the link. It's in the description. And I actually made the repo to be a public template. So there is a button in GitHub that you can click, use this repo as a template, and it will fork it for you and create your own repo based on the template. So that's the fastest way to start with the template. Right, that's all I wanted to share in this video. Let me know what you think, and good luck, and see you next video. Bye-bye.